If you love Undertale, then you've been tricked, you simple-minded fool. I love Undertale. Doesn't change anything. I realized this when I recently replayed the game and I accidentally killed Toriel. Tragic, I know. This early in the game, I already messed up the central idea. Undertale, the RPG where you don't have to destroy anyone. That's literally the entire description of the game on Steam. But when I started to feel tricked, it was later in the game I got to a monster I couldn't figure out how to spare, and I died like 4 times when I knew I could have just beat them if I just fought, but I felt so much resistance to doing it. It didn't make any sense. After all, I was already disqualified from the true pacifist ending because I accidentally killed Toriel. By killing the monster, I would have gotten more experience and made the game easier for myself, so why was I so against killing in this game? I feel no guilt for beating up cute little animals in Power World, so what's the difference? I thought about it for hours and hours until I finally figured it out. This whole game is just a subversion of your expectation. Not breaking news, but it subverts your expectations in more ways than you probably realize. In Undertale, you're incentivized to kill, but you have the option to be merciful. If you kill a monster, you get experience, and experience leads to levels, as we all know, and that leads to powerful stats. So the way it breaks down is that 1 level is +2 attack and +4 health, and then every 4 levels is +1 defense. So pretty skimpy on the defense. Doesn't that sound amazing? That's a pretty heavy incentive to kill. No, it's not. It's a trick. Defense can go up by a maximum of 5, but this is kind of puny when you realize that there are multiple sets of armor that can raise your defense more than that. But I will admit that defense is the best thing that you get from leveling up, because while health seems important, it actually doesn't matter, because at some point enemies start scaling up to your health stat. And attack, that's the most poignantly pointless incentive that the game has for killing creatures. Because if we acknowledge that mercy is usually as easy, if not easier, than just straight up attacking, then when you consider using the harder option to make the harder option easier, it doesn't even make sense. It's like if button A gives you a 100% chance of winning and button B gives you 50% chance of winning, but every time you use it, you get +5%, you'd still choose button A because it's always 100%. So it's the same for attack. There's no point to attack to get more attack because you can always just use mercy and it's easier. But the thing that makes this all so clever is that as gamers, we're conditioned to see, level up, experience, plus defense, plus health, plus attack as just better. We can't help but feel like, wow, that's a huge incentive that I'm missing out on by showing mercy, using our preconceived notions of RPGs against us. That developer, he's a sly fox. So the incentives for killing in this game are great for a typical game, just not for this one. And that's obviously intentional. Plus, when you use mercy, you still get gold, which I find hilarious. Of course I'm not gonna kill you, but give me all your money. So outside of gold, there's no incentive for mercy, right? Wrong. The incentives are just slightly less tangible for mercy. So you got jokes if you're merciful, you got extra dialogue, extra story. But the thing is, that's all that people are playing this game for. If you're playing this game for a power fantasy, you chose the wrong game. Go play Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown or Frogger 2: Swampy's Revenge. But what if I told you you were tricked even before you started playing the game? You unquestioning simple. Hey, that's enough. All right. Let's talk about what you know before you play the game. Undertale, the RPG game where you don't have to destroy anyone. So we know it's an RPG. You have the choice to be merciful. It's not an RPG where you don't destroy anyone. It's an RPG where you don't have to. And finally, it looks like this. Intentionally, I might add. And to note that this aesthetic is not just a limitation of the developer, it's an intentional choice. What does this tell us? The monsters definitely look more like a friend in Animal Crossing than a villain in an RPG, right? Speaking of RPG, it's clearly chosen to be an RPG because RPG sets a set of expectations for gamers. It intentionally breaks all those rules, positioning it as an anti-RPG, if you will. You will. Everyone does. Anti-RPG, that's what they call it. And finally, by saying an RPG where you don't have to destroy anyone, that makes mercy the novelty of the game. That's what the game is about. It's about mercy. And so if you were to compare this to something like, I don't know, Power World, where it's Pokemon with guns, or essentially Pokemon where you can kill the Pokemon, that's what the game is about. If you look at the memes for Power World, it's not a bunch of people sparing pals. It's people doing horrific things to pals. horrific. Things you couldn't even imagine. So now to flip things on its head, what if Undertale was a cozy game where you could kill anyone? Do you think that people would still have as much trouble doing the genocide run? Or now do you think that's like a goal for every streamer? What does this trickery accomplish? Well, I've been tricked into feeling like a good human. By manipulating my preconceptions of art style and genre, I made choices that I wouldn't have made in a different game. I genuinely felt horrible when I killed Torio. But it wasn't because I was a good person, it was because I was so skewed towards mercy that killing just felt sadistic. And overall, I think this is like one of the best examples of manipulation that I can think of. Making someone believe that they're a good person could lead them to doing good things. And I would wager that this game has led to one, if not several instances of genuinely good actions. Great job. I applaud you, Toby Fox, even if I was tricked. If you're interested in more breakdowns of how games tell stories, there's a playlist right there. My name is Terrence. I'm gonna keep playing games till I find the perfect one. Peace, love,